What's going on, everybody? It's another episode of the NRW Checkpoint with the best host in gaming. Myself, WebsterStyle, the man, the voice of fragrance. Of course, as always, I'm joined by my man extraordinaire, Brian Sapph. Brian, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I cannot complain, and I will not complain. So let me ask you a
Yeah.
question. What have you been playing in your backlog this week?
And my backlog. Oh, I'm still trying to get through God of War so I can like start Ragnarok. And that's backlog. Other than that, I bought Demon Slayer for it was on sale for Black Friday, so I bought
Hey,
that, which is that game's I guess backlog. I don't know.
look,
Those two games
if it's not brand new, it's backlog.
Right. Yeah, I haven't bought any brand new games. Just trying to get through God of War, playing
Gotcha.
Demon Slayer and Overwatch.
Okay. All right. I actually picked back up as Dust Falls very recently.
Okay.
And it's cool because I just been doing it on my phone via Cloud Play. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I really love about the title is when you're on the mobile device, the touch controls are very well suited for playing that game. And since it's a narrative adventure anyway, those sort of point and click things you don't really need a controller for. But
Okay.
it was just really cool. I was just going into the office today actually and just let me just play it. And it's
Everything.
such a great time killer. It's such a beautiful game and it's very tense. I love the story. I can't wait to really get back into it. And also it's one of those games where you can really just pick it up for like 10-20 minutes and then go about your business. You don't have to worry about it auto saves throughout, so you don't have to worry about losing progress and that sort of
That's
stuff.
good.
And surprisingly, I had a little bit of hiccups around a certain area where there is a very large military presence that is named for a shape, which is understandable when my Wi-Fi signal degraded.
Right.
But other than that, even the cloud play, as far as the connection, was really good throughout the whole trip. So I was like, okay, I gotta. This might be my thing to do on those days that I actually do have to travel outside for my occupation to pay the bills.
I understand. That's dope. What kind of game is it? Like what
It's a
style?
narrative adventure. Think like the
Okay.
old Walking Dead games, point and click, choose
Okay.
dialogue trees, things. It's in there various different ways you can play the game. So, and one of the things I haven't done yet is that you actually have the option of playing with multiple people. So I
Oh.
want to see how that works, considering it's a very singular, at least when you play it solo, it's very singular focus you're playing. In this case, this section game, I'm playing the father of this family that's in this crisis, and you're making him choose decisions. So I'm curious if you playing multiplayer, if people you're playing with make decisions for other people in the game
Oh,
in
that
this
would be
story.
cool.
So that I'm curious about.
Hmm. That sounds dope.
So I'm gonna
What
try
is
it
that
out and
called?
let you know. Hmm?
What's it called?
As Dust Falls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like um you playing it on like Game Pass or something
Yeah,
or
Game
what?
Pass. It's a
Okay, okay.
Microsoft exclusive. They publish that
Okay.
bad boy.
God darn Microsoft.
Hey,
Okay, that sounds cool though.
hey, you can sign up, get the first month for $1. Play it
True,
right on your phone.
true, true. You're right.
All right, let's get into some new games. A couple of Game Pass exclusives on here as well.
All right.
Let's first up, we're looking at Wavetale, and this is on the PS4, 5, Xbox One, SX, Switch, and PC. It is a third-person adventure game from Thunderful Studios. In it, you take on the role of Sigrid, a young girl who acquires a power to walk on water. Sounds
Okay.
like somebody I've heard of before.
Yeah, it
Uh,
sounds quite familiar.
right. Uh, Players will be able to explore the ocean and the decaying archipelago of Strandville. That sounds quite interesting,
It
actually.
does.
Very, very interesting. And we are watching the trailer for that. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Next up is there are a couple big releases this week. This is probably one of, or maybe not big releases, but there are games that have a lot of notoriety and not a lot of hype coming in this week.
Okay.
The first of which is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, and this is a updated HD remake. Is it a remake or remaster?
I believe it's a remaster.
Okay.
Or because what's the title say? I don't
Oh,
know.
it
It
says
could be
remaster. Okay. Description says
okay.
remaster. Okay. It's a remaster. So it's the remaster of the previously PSP exclusive prequel to Final Fantasy VII. In it, it's a single player RPG that follows Zack Fair. I want to say Flair because of Ric Flair. Woo! A young warrior working his way up the ranks of the renowned Soldier Spec Ops Force. So if you love Final Fantasy VII, this is definitely the game to go for, and I'm actually interested in this one as well. And we just had that discussion about Final Fantasy stuff last time.
Yeah, they make some good stuff. And this was, like you said, is a prequel to like the original Final
Yeah,
Fantasy VII. So I don't know. I like what they're doing with the seven universe, I'll call it. Because they building it out. They have the main game, they redid that. Now they have this prequel. They did Renegade, was it? There's
oh
two
yeah,
other
that
characters.
Final Fantasy Origin thing or whatever it was.
Yeah, there's two
Yeah,
other characters associated with the Final Fantasy VII story that have gotten their own like spin-off games
got
that
you.
tie into the main game. Like they're building this out in this really cool way. I like it.
Okay, all right. I mean, it's just interesting. I find the no, it's just it's that not saying like I get why Final Fantasy VII was the you know what. I get it was just so different. The look was just so different when it came
Yeah.
out. And even things that spun off from that. And I'm even thinking of the Advent Children OAV from years ago. It's just different and unique. So I totally get and understand. I just I'm not surprised, but I'm amazed at how much the nostalgia for Final Fantasy VII unlike, and this isn't the case for any other Final Fantasy game, really.
Right.
Regardless of how big the, you know, after Final Fantasy VII, like every Final Fantasy sold like gangbusters.
Yeah.
Like people who never played RPGs picked up Final, like my frat brothers back in the day. I remember in college, he wasn't even in RPGs, but because of Final Fantasy and the hype with his PlayStation, he picked up what Final Fantasy 9 or 10, whichever one it was. It
Mm-hmm.
was on play like, and he played it and loved it. Like so many people got into RPGs because of Final Fantasy 7, but no one's like, oh, I love Final Fantasy 10, or oh, I want to see a remaster of it's always 7. So I just find it absolutely amazing just how much really brand loyalty the
Mm-hmm.
game has garnered over 25 years.
Yeah.
God,
They
I'm old.
did a good job at really
Yeah,
like creating some iconic characters that have really like translated well with the RPG audience. It's almost like every RPG character kind of derives a little bit from something that happened on Final Fantasy
right,
VII. It's interesting. And then
right.
I know the nostalgia factor is definitely a big thing, but then they also updated the combat system for this, you know, the re-release or the
Yes.
redo or whatever, remake.
Yeah. Is it
And
is
that
it an
looks really,
action
really good.
RPG or action combat system like they've moved to with the other Final Fantasy 7 games?
Well, yes.
Okay.
So you have the option. You could play the original way, which is really dope that they included this. You could play it the original way, like how the combat was on the
Hmm.
original Final Fantasy VII back on the PlayStation,
okay.
or you can switch to battle style, and
Okay,
it's
that's
more
cool.
kind
I
of
like
like
I like that. I'm glad
turn
this
like yeah, it's more
yeah.
open based like a
Okay.
Devil May Cry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's pretty
Well,
cool.
that's our tangent on Final Fantasy VII. We just talked about Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, and that's on PS4, 5, Xbox One, SX, Switch, and PC. Next up is probably the next high-profile game of or new game for the week, and that is High on Life, at least for now. It is just on Xbox One, SX, and PC, and is also dropping day one on Game Pass. And this is an FPS from one of the creators of Rick and Morty, so it's gotten a lot of hype because of the humor and the crudeness of it. So it's a weird and hilarious FPS that sees you as a human high schooler who's quickly transformed into a galactic bounty hunter using living guns to take down aliens. Content includes rating for blood, crude humor, sexual themes, strong language, and use of drugs. We're getting high.
You're right.
And if I remember
Extreme
correctly
rating.
from the trailer, and I think we're watching a trailer, but I remember their initial trailers. I believe like aliens were actually kidnapping humans and getting like humans with a new drug, if I remember the trailer correctly. Right,
Okay.
exactly. So literally high on life.
Right. Okay, I'm interested to check that out.
Yeah, so it looks interesting.
Yeah.
Next up is one that is definitely for the youngsters, and it's the Little Gator game, and that's obviously for the youngsters is on the Switch and the PC. We are not watching the trailer for this one. We got to keep it for time because I really would have put that in there.
Right.
So just because it looks so cute when you see the picture of it. It's an
Little
adventure
Gator
game
game.
set on an island playground. You grapple with your floppy gator protagonist's unusual movement to help him explore the world as you bop cardboard baddies, climb mountain peaks, glide, fling, and jump around. So it's definitely one for the kids.
Yeah, definitely. Somebody got some competition for
Yeah, yeah.
Roblox.
Next up, and again, I'm not going to go too deep into this one. This is the next gen version slash upgrade of Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition and next gen slash current gen. So it's new editions, upgrade editions for PS5 and Xbox SX and PC. And that includes every single piece of DLC that has come out for this game, which came out in 2015 originally.
Wow.
Right.
Look at
Wow.
time is flying, but then look at the longevity there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just amazing that that game has continued. Like they don't need to bring out a Witcher 4 for a couple years now after this. Like for real, for real.
I
Um,
mean, if they bundling it up together like this, I'm pretty sure Witcher 4 is on the way.
right. Well,
Especially with the success of
they got time.
Blerdcast.
They got
They
time.
do.
I mean, look at the roadmap for Cyberpunk. I mean, the launch wasn't that great, and the launch was like 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And they're finally hitting their stride and they're focusing on current gen systems and like they have a couple year roadmap. So I highly doubt we'll be seeing Witcher 4 within the next 2 years. I doubt it, personally speaking.
Which is fine. They've
Yeah.
given us plenty of content to play.
Yeah, I see that maybe 2025 at the earliest. That's even weird to say. 2025.
It's coming fast.
It is. Next up, we have AKA, which is on the Switch and the PC. It's a simulation. It's an open world adventure game developed by Cosmo Gatto and published by NeoWiz. About war is over, an old friend is inviting you to his island to live a peaceful life. So it's you got some like the survival sim, gathering, all that good stuff there as well. And then last up, and there's another one we're watching a trailer of, is Blacktail. And that is only on current gen systems, PS5, Xbox SX, and PC. An action game. It's a unique story focused based game. It's gonna be a game based on the Slavic folktale of Baba Yaga. You play Yaga, whose sister Zora has gone missing, along with several other children in the village. Yaga wears a mask and is bullied relentlessly by the townspeople now that Zora's gone, and nightmares plague her. So you got to find your sister.
Yeah, that Bobby Yaga. That remind me of John Wick.
Oh yeah, it's weird. I think of that the latest Hellboy movie that came out with dude from Stranger Things. Like that was the only redeeming part of that movie. The character Baba Yaga and just how that character was like that character was engaging. Everything else about that movie, it wasn't a fun watch. I'll put it that way. I blame the writing. I don't blame the acting. I blame it because like that script was garbage.
Okay. I don't think I saw the latest.
Pass. Just pass.
So.
Don't. Okay. So let's get into the first trailer, which is a trailer for High on Life.
Yeah, let's see these aliens. This game, yeah, it's disgusting. I saw a clip on Instagram of somebody for kids.
It looks cool.
It looks cool. Dialogue looks very, very
I love the colors though. And I think that's something that many video games are so devoid of is color. Everything has like a kind of a standard color palette, not saying they're black and white or shades of gray and brown, but you don't get a lot of video games that look this detailed, that's this colorful.
this being like a space
Silky
ocean or
smooth.
whatever. Oh, that is him.
And we acting a fool in this game.
That's talking to you, helping you through the missions.
Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, I'll definitely check it out. It's not necessarily my type of game, but you know, it's on Game Pass, so why the hell not?
I'm gonna send you the video I saw so you can get some understanding as
yes,
to what
I'll definitely shoot me that video. I love to see that. Next up, we have the trailer for Wavetale.
Okay.
Rated T for teen.
Oh, this looks beautiful.
When I was a kid, Grandma had a drink and let me stay up late.
Oh, that's a good grandma.
Then she started telling me about when Strandville sank. It was just 2 days after Grandpa's death.
I don't think Jesus was this bad.
They took cover in Grandpa's greenhouse.
I don't think so either.
We sat in there looking through his hundreds and hundreds of notes and drawings when something just cracked. Granny said that it sounded like the earth broke in two. They must have been so scared.
I love the art style for this.
A kind heart, Siggy.
Deep breaths, my darling.
You are just like your mother in that respect.
Waves are crashing.
She's at peace now.
We are still far.
Don't you think?
From shore.
I'm feeling that.
It's one of them games that's gonna teach you about feelings.
Yes, it is. I will say this, and we say this all the time. We developers that really try to do different things visually really stand out, and I really appreciate the sort of effort that they put into games to make it look distinct and not like everything else. And you know, this for some reason, her movements remind me of like Sonic on rails in many respects, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that's what it reminds me of, how fast she moves, whether it's on the actual rails, on the ground, on the water. I like the way this game looks, and it seems like it has a pretty good story to tell as well. So it's definitely one I'm gonna keep on my radar.
Yeah, same. Like, when it comes to playing Switch, I tend to gravitate towards these kind of games just because they're a little bit more simple. You know, the Switch controllers they're not built for heavy duty gaming.
No, not at all.
So I like to get these kind of a little bit more relaxed games when it comes to Switch. And then it just looks great. It feels good on the Switch. And then, like you said, I like the movement style of this game. It does look like a lot like Sonic. Just with the the consistency of the movement speed and the railing and all this, the going across the water. But it looks good also. There's an element of combat there that I appreciate just because it doesn't look what's the word? It doesn't look like complicated. It looks like something you
Right,
can
right.
pick up. And I don't know. I like these kind of games. I'm gonna keep my eye out for that one. I know it's probably hit. Well, who's the developer? Is it any developer?
Yeah, it's indie. It's not a mainstream game. There's I don't have it here in the description.
$30 max.
Yeah, I agree. $30 max.
But it looks great.
It does. Oh, Thunderful Studios.
Oh, right. They was running.
I feel like we've heard them before.
Maybe.
They sound familiar. They sound very familiar.
They do. But multiverse. Well, anyway, great job. I like the trailer. I'm intrigued at the story. I want to understand why she has these water abilities and what she's trying to accomplish with the death of her mother looming over her head.
Okay, I remember now.
What's that?
They developed and they published the Gunk on Xbox. That's what I remember because I
okay.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Now, so this one should be just as great.
Yeah. They even in that game, it had a pretty unique art style as well and a good story. I got to finish it. I'm about halfway through, but I enjoyed it when I was playing it.
Okay.
All right. Last but not least, we go back to Final Fantasy with Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion.
Now, see, the titles throw me off sometimes.
Pause real quick because I have Blacklight.
Oh, Blacktail. I'm sorry. I'm skipping ahead. Blacktail. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, well, I already paused. Well, no, we're still recording. Because you already mentioned Crisis Core.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Let's keep it there. I'll bring that up.
That's no problem.
Blacktail. So,
I'll switch them around.
Yeah. So Blacktail's queued up. Crisis Core. Hold up. Threw me off. Hold on. Okay, Crisis Core shares together. Okay, we're already still recording. I'm gonna count us in on my edit, and I'm just gonna cut on here. Patrick, remind yourself. All right, here we go. We're on it. Coming in a 1, 2, 3.
Those wings. I want them too.
The company has decided to eliminate Genesis and his cohorts. This includes Angeal as well.
That sword represents our family's honor.
I see. No wonder.
I've become a monster. A monster's objective is usually world domination or revenge.
I told you, you can't live on that side anymore.
Is that Angeal's face?
It appears Genesis isn't the only one who can be copied.
The mysterious gift of the goddess. What is the meaning behind it? For us, at least.
Those soldier people are kind of weird. They fight, and they love it.
If only I were soldier. Soldier is like a den of monsters. Don't go inside.
Do you remember what I said about our enemy being all that creates suffering? But I created my own suffering.
You want to do something to me, eh? But then, who will stop Genesis and Angeal's degradation?
If this world seeks my destruction, it goes with me.
Am I a human being?
Shinra, soldier, and you. I hate you all!
Sephiroth! Why did you kill the townspeople? Why did you hurt Tifa? Answer me, Sephiroth!
Sephiroth, that's why.
Sephiroth!
The army's mobilizing.
Find the targets before they do. I want them alive. You hear me?
Roger.
All right, let's get going.
Will I see you again?
Hey, Cloud. I have to go to Midgard.
Okay, I don't know about you, and this is no disrespect to the voice actors. They were giving it their all, and they were built over the top. But with the animation style and how stiff a lot of characters were, I felt like I was watching a kung fu movie. Like I hear the voices, but the faces don't always match the emotion that the voice. So it comes off very cheesy.
That's what happened when you try to remake a game was on a portable device.
That's not a bad thing. It's just an observation. So,
right.
I feel like I'm watching Advent Children with those scenes from the game. Exactly. I feel like I'm watching Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
They cutscenes though, they look great.
Well, even the battle scenes that we saw were pretty good for remasters from a PSP game. Right. They look like they could fit. You got to think what Advent Children is, what, 2005? Around that time it released?
Something like that.
Yeah, because I just remember I had a burned DVD copy back in the day, when we burned DVDs of it around that time where I was living. So I know it's like 2005, 2004, maybe 6 at the latest, but I really feel like 4 or 5. So this remaster looks like their movie they did 16 plus years ago.
I mean,
that says a lot, a testament to how far we've come as far as video game technology, where a cutting edge, state of the art animated movie, CGI movie from a video game. Now, 16 years later, a video game that looked nowhere near as good as that movie now looks just like that movie when you play it. Even a remaster. And we ain't even talking about the remakes on PS5. Right. I mean, those things surpass what Advent Children looks like. But it's just really amazing.
Yeah, Square Enix, man, they do that though. Like, for whatever reason, they really intentional about making sure the cutscenes look like you are at the movie theaters, and I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Fantastic.
Even that one effort to make a movie, I still enjoyed Final Fantasy: Spirits Within when it came out. And at one point in time, I had it on DVD because it was unique and it was special.
Yeah. And
so
it's gonna continue to be special because Final Fantasy is not going anywhere.
Exactly.
It's in here.
All right, last up we have Blacktail, and that's on current gen systems, PS5, Xbox SX, and PC.
Once upon a time, there was a freak with no face.
Okay, so Baba Yaga has no face?
You can't hide from Baba, princess.
How much longer
You want to be a nobody.
Stop it!
How far will you go when she's not around? I knew you'd come.
Okay. I can't help but see a first-person bow and arrow and I think of Turok.
And I just can't help but see a first-person bow and arrow and think, where the rest of the weapons at? I hope this is not the only piece of equipment that this character has in order to fend off all of these monsters. But hey, it looks like a solid game.
Right. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I was surprised at the graph because I literally hadn't watched the trailer. I just grabbed it, but I saw the box art. I was like, okay. I'm impressed by the graphics, even though the Baba Yaga looks like the box art, but box art is just drawings when there wasn't actual gameplay. But I'm impressed. I was definitely expecting something more akin to what we saw with Wavetale and that sort of graphical fidelity, not so much as detailed as what we saw with Blacktail.
And then what was Blacktail on? What's the system?
That's on current gen system. So it's PS5, Xbox SX, and then PC. So another reason why it looks as graphically detailed as it does, because it's only on the current gen systems.
Right. Well, Hopefully, it's more than bow and arrows.
Yes, I hope so too. But you're in a different time though, so you never know.
Yeah, true.
So I got a quick question for you before we get into what's going on this week. Did you check out any of the game awards?
Only thing that I saw was some of the trailers for the games or whatever.
Okay. Anything stick out for you?
Yes, but now I'm drawing a blank since you asked me that. I can't think. Wait, did I write it down? I feel like I might have wrote it down. Tell me about yours though while I figure this out.
Okay, so I don't know if it's my old age or just my old age of gaming so long. I just don't get excited with a lot because a lot of it's very repetitive. I would say I was excited for Hades 2, but I thought that was cool. I played the first one was on Game Pass. Again, if you watch us, you know I'm not the biggest fan of roguelites, so I'm like, it's a good game. It's not something I'm going to be like dying for. But I say this, and then I'm going to go to the game that actually excited me, but I didn't know it was a roguelite until I did some research on it. That was a Hellboy game, Word of Weird or something like that. And that straight looks like Mike Magnolia's drawings come to life in a video game.
I don't know if I saw the trailer for that.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. And weirdly enough, they don't have Ron Perlman doing the voice, but they have a nice second option. Lance Reddick is doing the voice of Hellboy. I'm like, oh yeah, that works. I can see that working. So that is literally the only game like, oh, I want to play that I saw the whole time.
Okay.
Game Awards were quite long, and
they were, which that's not a reason for me not to watch them. It was just I was looking for specific things. And once I figured those out, like I wanted to see who was going to win Best Mobile Game because I really enjoy Marvel Snap.
Right.
And
they won.
Yeah. The Game of the Year thing was very, very like up in the air also because everybody really loved Elden Rings when it came out.
I figured it would be Elden Ring.
I didn't think so.
I'm biased.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What did you think it was going to be?
Elden Ring.
You did?
Yeah, only again, I didn't play either Elden Ring or God of War. But Elden Ring has had a persistent buzz throughout the whole year. Like it has never gone away.
Right.
While God of War has that brand name, God of War just came out.
Yeah. And I don't know. Because I felt like God of War should have won. But the only reason I felt like that is because we've literally been waiting for the game since it was announced after beating. Well, I haven't beat the first one yet, but you know what I'm saying. This game has been teased for a long time, and from what I can tell, it's living up to expectations. Now, Elden Ring definitely had a case, and I was okay with it winning because, like I said, when it came out, huge. Like people loved it. It's just I don't know if people are still playing it today.
I think so, but also I think this probably goes into a factor with Elden Ring since it's fan voting. Regardless of one, Elden Ring had been out longer. It has sold tons, but it was multi-platform. So you not only had PlayStation, you also had Xbox, and you also had PC people voting as well. Ragnarok, outside of just brand name, the only people, and I am not trying to disparage anyone here. But realistically, considering the time frame it came out in my opinion, you only really need people who are very fanboyish that are going to be voting, and those actually play the game. And that's realistically, regardless of Sony's market share, that's still not a total portion of the gaming population. Elden Ring is a game that came out early in the year, has been talked about literally all year.
Yeah.
All year. It is widely played and watched on Twitch even now, on YouTube gaming. I have no idea about Facebook gaming, I'm probably sure. And they're still talking about this game. And it came out in February, March? Yeah. Here we are in December, and we are still talking about this game. That alone said to me it was going to win Game of the Year, because I rarely see in this current climate, I rarely see games, any game, even like a God of War, talked about for pretty much the full year cycle of release.
Yeah,
that is
doing bad.
Look,
then people are talking about it all the time.
Let's be real. We got God and we got all of them, but let's be real. The only games that we still talk about now like really that people are still playing all the time. It's like Mario Kart 8.
Right.
Like we're still talking about that. Like still, it was like 3-4 years now. Like there are very few games that stay in a collective gamer consciousness for months, if not years on end. God of War, the first one, nobody's still talking about. They're talking about the sequel, but nobody was talking about God of War. Oh, in 2020, like I'm still playing God of War. As on a large collective, gaming collective, not just saying there's still people playing it, obviously, but in general, you didn't get a real pop about it again until what, it came out on PC, early this year, I think.
Yeah, when they remastered it, that's when it's kind of like got a second win. But that was also around the time where it was like, number 2 is coming.
So, exactly. It was more promotion for the second one. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I thought it was a foregone conclusion with Elden Ring. And again, I'm not even deep into gaming like that. But when I go online and I see what comes up on my feed, I flip down on YouTube and I look at like the gaming tab and I see what's going on. Elden Ring is always coming up and it's been coming up for months.
Yeah, and aren't they like about to do something else with it, like a expansion pack or something?
I think there's supposed to be some DLC or something like that.
Okay. Oh wait, they dropped some. Wait, was that them? It was Elden Rings that put out something for the Game Awards?
I have no idea.
Somebody released.
I think so, but I'm not sure.
For the game. Yeah, but the trailers that I was like, okay, I'm gonna check that out. The Transformers, was it Activate or?
Oh yeah, that caught me off guard. That was so quick though, I totally forgot about it because you really didn't see a lot there.
Right. That, and then the Bayonetta Origins game, that looks interesting because Bayonetta's, she's Nintendo's Devil May Cry. And I think that was the 2 that I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I didn't think I really got the chance to watch anything else. Cause nothing else. I was like, oh, I don't want Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Oh yeah,
that game
looks great. How can I forget about that? That looks great.
I'm not even a Star Wars like fan. Well, no, I'm not. I haven't watched like a third of the movies, the TV shows. Like the story is so far. I'm like, I don't know if I can catch up. But that game looks good. So yeah, those 3.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, it was a lot there, but for the most part, not a lot exciting me, but it's a Game Awards, the last big hurrah for the year, so I definitely was going to watch. So Brian, what's coming up with you this week?
Talk+Play WebsterStyle. We are the episode's out. The review for Drake and 21 Savage's latest offering, Her Loss, and I'm currently in the process of another episode. So next week or 2. It'll be a new piece of audio out for your digestion. Thank you so much for tuning in. And then, here, talking about games.
Awesome. Well, I am back on schedule. Episode 135 published a few days ago with my review of Wakanda Forever, as well as at the time it was initially recorded. We had just lost Kevin Conroy, so it's comments about that, as well as Jason David Frank. Like, I recorded it that week, so that's how long it's been since it's been sitting there, needed to be edited. So, and a couple other things, some obviously fragrance talk, a little bit of style. Also, there's this movie with Martin Lawrence called Mindscape. It's like a psychological thriller, like him and John Malkovich, that I saw, and I'm like, this looks totally weird. Like Martin doesn't belong in this movie. So I'll talk about that as well. And then episode 136 is already done too, so that'll be out on the Monday after whenever this publishes. With, if you haven't seen my interviews from Exotic already, my interviews with Carmela Clutch as well as RVD are going to be there, as well as talking about, I think I'll talk about High on Life and a couple other things as well. So I'm back on schedule, ladies and gentlemen, trying to make sure you have content for the rest of the year until we go into 2023. But of course, you are currently with Nerds Rule the World. Make sure you check us out on Twitter at the NRW, on Instagram and Interviews Wednesday, and of course, you're currently on YouTube, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe.